Okay, let's look at some things that might change equilibrium in a market. So we know equilibrium price is the price at which quantity supplied is exactly equal to quantity demanded. So the amount people want to buy is exactly equal to the amount people want to supply, and the market is stable. And the market will stay there and be stable unless one of these curves shifts. Unless something that changes demand or something that changes supply besides price changes. And remember, for supply, the primary thing that affects the position of the supply curve is the cost of production. Anything that changes the cost of production is going to change the position of the supply curve. If it costs you less to make, you're going to be more willing to supply. You don't need to get paid as much to make you supply. If it costs you more to make, you're going to be less willing to supply. You're going to have to get paid more. And with the demand curve, anything that affects how much you want to buy of a product besides the price, like your income or your taste and preferences or the price of related goods, or just your expectations, like we saw with toilet paper and COVID, people's expectations changed. So we're just going to go through a few examples and say, in a particular market, if this happens, and just sort of work through in our head how the market changes and how the market finds its way back to equilibrium. So in this case, we're going to say it's the market for cars, just cars in general. And here in the market for cars, we're going to say consumer incomes have gone up. The first thing you always want to say is, what curve is shifting? This event in this market, what does a change in consumer incomes do in the car market? And the first answer is not price changes, because that price will not change unless this demand curve moves or this supply curve moves. This is equilibrium. The market will stay here and it's stable. So the first thing is, we're in the market for cars. This happens. Which curve is shifting? Who is being affected? What side of the market? Is that a demand shifter or is that a supply shifter? Because if neither of these curves move, price isn't going to just jump somewhere by itself. Right? So the first thing you want to always say is, here's something that happened. What impact is that going to have? Is it going to move supply or is it going to move demand? And in what direction? So an increase in consumer incomes, we know, so people have more money, everybody has more money, they are more likely to buy cars at every price. That's going to affect the demand curve. And it's going to be an increase in the demand curve. People want to buy more at every price. It's going to be a shift out of the demand curve. At a price of P0, instead of wanting Q0, they want something more. Remember, along the quantity axis, quantity is increasing as we move out to the right. So an increase in demand says the quantity demanded is higher at every price. And so people have more money, more people want to buy cars. At every price, more people want to buy cars. And so at the original equilibrium price, you can see now more people want cars than they did before. It used to be they wanted Q0 and Q0 was available. Now Q0 is available, but they want a lot more. The quantity demanded exceeds the quantity supplied. And we know that if you're in a situation where the quantity demanded exceeds the quantity supplied, quantity demanded is greater than quantity supplied, that's giving us a shortage. There's the quantity demanded. And so price is going to be bid up. More people want units than there are units available. Price is going to be bid up. As price gets bid up, some suppliers say, oh, if the price is going to be higher, I'll join that market. So equilibrium price is going to increase. Price is getting higher, and as price gets higher, suppliers are saying, oh, at a higher price, I'm more willing to supply, but we don't have to shift the supply curve to show that, right? The supply curve is drawn with a positive slope. The supply curve is drawn showing if price goes up, yeah, people will supply more. That's what the supply curve shows, how quantity supply changes as price changes. So yeah, price is going up, and that's going to increase the quantity that people are willing to supply. And that's going to keep happening. Price is going to keep getting bid up until it gets high enough where the quantity supplied is exactly equal to the quantity demanded again. And we are in our new equilibrium at a higher price and a higher quantity. People want more cars will be produced, and the price of cars will be higher because the demand has increased.